Hello, this is Peter with another video. Today I thought I'd just do a quick update on the in-ground edible bananas. So I'll only be featuring the edible ones today, which are planted in ground. So yeah, this year has been a very disappointing summer. In terms of banana growth, we've had very little growth on most of them. This first one I'm featuring here is the dwarf Brazilian, which has actually done the best out of all of the ones I've planted in ground. I've got more in the greenhouse which have grown better than the ones I've got outside, although to be honest this hasn't done much different than some of the good performing ones in the greenhouse. This one has done quite well. It's only put out about 6 leaves, which isn't fantastic, but it has thickened up quite nicely down here at the base. It was probably about this thin earlier in the year, so it has thickened up quite nicely. Now I don't overwinter these in the ground here. I have to dig them up and bring them in when it gets really cold. It can tolerate fairly cool temperatures, and ideally you want to keep it free from frost, but it can tolerate single digit lows. At least for a short period of time it wouldn't cause any major damage. I wouldn't want to leave it outside all winter though, not in my location. So yeah, this is the dwarf Brazilian. It's done pretty well. It did also do quite well last year as well. So this is a candidate I'm going to be continuing to grow in the ground, as it does seem to do quite well. Have its sibling in the greenhouse, which is in a pot and has grown fairly well as well, but it does need repotting. It's too late in the year to do that now, so I'll be leaving it in that pot. I'll probably do a separate video on the greenhouse bananas in the coming weeks. So next along we have a very disappointing looking plant, and this is the Rajapuri. Now this did really well last year and the year before. This year it's done absolutely nothing. As you can see, it's put out maybe 2 or 3 leaves. I think it's lost one of them, 2 of them. That might even be the first leaf it put out. But you can see it's completely shredded, it's barely grown at all. It's just put out this leaf, which is really small, deformed, and it is getting another one now, but it's way too late in the year. I'm actually very concerned that this plant's going to die over winter. Now this, I'm almost certain this will have root rot issues of some sort. The corm could even be compromised. Something could have eaten into it. It's definitely struggling, so I'm going to have to get this out of the ground sooner rather than later. I'm not even going to leave this one any longer. I'm probably going to rip it out this weekend and inspect the roots. I might have to bring it inside and put it under the grow light to see if I can get it to revive, because I don't want to lose this plant, because it's extremely rare. I do have one pup which did come off this the other year in the greenhouse, and that's growing quite well. It's probably not much different in size to this now, but it's got much healthier growth and more leaves on it. So yeah, it's I reckon a combination of the terrible summer and probably issues with the root on this one. And then we've had pretty much a similar story here, to be honest, with the dwarf Orinoco, which generally does okay in my garden over summer, but this one again has not grown much at all. You can see there's not even a new leaf coming out the top of this one, which is quite concerning. I think this was the first or maybe second leaf it put out. And yeah, you can see it's not looking good at all. Wind's done a number on it. Now, if you look down at the base, you can see it's starting to split. And this is telling me that there's probably an issue with the leaf emerging out of this. It's probably got stuck inside. This is quite a common thing with bananas. They do occasionally get this issue where the leaves get stuck, and it's classed as choking, or sometimes strangled. Some people call it strangling, some people say choking. But yeah, I think that's what's happening here. The leaf, it's probably got stuck in there and it's not going to come out the top unless I cut the plant back, or it might force its way out the side of the pseudostem, which has happened before to some of my other bananas, including my manzano, which I had outside last year. It's been in the greenhouse this year, that one. But it did have this little tiny pup. It was literally that big, just a couple of centimetres out the ground there at the beginning of the year, and it's pushed up, so probably over a foot in length, I'd say 30-40 centimetres, and then the leaves on top, so it's done quite well. Still not fantastic amount of growth, but it's definitely done better than the parent plant. And that's probably because the plant's trying to focus its energy on getting this pup growing now, because this main plant's been struggling, so I guess that's what's happened there. But yeah, also another problem I've had this year is competition from the likes of the colocasias. I did have another clump here, still see one that's been left in the ground, but I removed them to make way for this avocado. And yeah, before I did that, it was completely engulfing this Rajapuri around here. Also my grapevine, which I've heavily pruned. I've only left, I think, about two branches left, or two vines, which I'm going to be tying onto the wall. I'll do a separate video on that because I've already filmed some footage for that. But yeah, I've just not got time to actually tie it to the wall yet. But yeah, I think those colocasias were definitely competing a bit too much in this area, and the grapevines as well. But yeah, they've been cut back a bit. This clump here hasn't been cut back much. I've only removed a few of the leaves around this area just to make sure the dwarf Orinoco gets plenty of light. Of course, we've got the Musa Baju, which I'll feature in its own separate video, which of course does grow much better even in a poor summer. But even so, it's actually done much worse than it normally does this year, although it's mostly due to the wind that we've had issues with this year. But yeah, I will feature that separately. But yeah, going back to the dwarf Brazilian, you can see in comparison has done much better than the other two. It's only put out maybe 15-20 centimetres of growth, 6 inches or so, but definitely not too bad, and probably not much further behind than it was last year. I think the other thing is this is in probably a very sheltered spot here. It's got the wall, obviously, it's got the fence on this side as well. It's pretty much full sun all day in this location, when we actually do get any sun, which we don't today. It's very cloudy. But yeah, overall this one has definitely been doing the best. Obviously, getting these to an edible size in the UK is going to be very difficult outside. It's going to mean having to dig this up and bring it inside and then put it back out again in spring. This is now its second year I've done this in the ground. I think the Rajapuri is on its third year, I think. Might be wrong, could be second as well. But I think some of them have done 2 or 3 years. But yeah, this one's on its second year in the ground, and then over winter indoors. So at this rate, it's going to take me probably 10 years to get this to a edible size if I don't lose any height over winter. But yeah, I'll definitely do much better in a greenhouse, so I'll probably do a separate update on the ones in the greenhouse to show how much more growth you can get out of them in there. But yeah, I thought I'd just do an update on the in-ground edible bananas, because I know quite a lot of people like to follow along with these. So yeah, if you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell, which will notify you when new videos are released. So yeah, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.